My next question taking off from this, please wait. We are going to have a wonderful time tonight, all of us. We're going to have a great debate. So, according to the language used, by AAP, Lokesh, DMK took 500 crores of Vasooli from the lottery company, some future lottery company which is under investigation. Why was this Vasooli taken? These are his language, not mine. By the DMK. 500 crores are not small money. Huh?
Arnab, can I rebut the...
Of course, it's the kind of money some of your family members running your party use over it.
Which government made the law?
We took the money. We took the money, admission. Admission on my program.
Who is setting the rules? Who is setting the rules?
They made the laws, we took the money, we protest. Who is setting
the rules? No. You are absolutely wrong here. It was a bad legislation. It was a bad law. And the government is responsible for it. It was almost like the voters were kept in the dark. They had the right to know whom they are voting for. That's what the Supreme Court has also commented. And the government should not have introduced such an instrument which was exempted from taxes, which was basically allowing taxpayers money to be mobilized for their own political benefits.
But Congress, DMK, Trinamool, AAP all took the money,
It's not
Trinamool,
about
Congress,
who were the beneficiaries.
Congress all took the money, thousands of crores you took,
The very instrument
had
all the potency to become an extortionate tool.
Now we are
it was made into one.
Oh my God.
Okay, now, 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute. Before I go to Sohail, Sanju. Sanju, listen. Here's the point. If I have to open a bank account, if you have to open a bank account, you and I as citizens of India, we are mandated to get the KYC done. The KYC information is also to be updated by the bank from time to time. If I don't provide my Aadhaar and PAN, identify and link the two and a proof of identity and address is not given, then no bank will open my account. Citizens are open to such scrutiny. Why not political parties?
Okay. Arnab, now you have to be fair. At least give me 2 to 3 minutes. I've been listening for the last 14 minutes to the other side. First and foremost, at the cost of wanting to not run foul of the Supreme Court, but I may end up doing so. So I just want to say that this is an academic argument that I'm putting, because when the Supreme Court speaks, the BJP chooses to not say otherwise. Having put that disclaimer at the outset, let me say a couple of things. The electoral bond scheme came into existence in 2018. And in 2018, the same apex court said that it is a great way to ensure transparency in political funding, given that crowdfunding as a means of political funding in India is still at a very, very nascent stage. Point number 2, the Supreme Court said that prior to 2018, let's be very honest, political funding exists, but it used to happen via cash, via the Hawala route, and via black money. Now, when political funding happens via electoral bonds, there is an electronic digital trail, there is a verifiable paper trail. So the question of opacity does not arise. What you get in lieu of electoral bonds is transparency, is clean money entering politics. Now, why has the Supreme Court castigated the electoral bond scheme, something which it originally endorsed in 2018? I read the judgment very carefully. The Supreme Court has said 3 things. It says that electoral bonds vitiate the right to privacy. Electoral bonds vitiate the right to information that an ordinary bona fide citizen is entitled to. And the other thing which the Supreme Court says is that electoral bonds treat every stakeholder alike, be it an individual who has contributed, a school teacher, a student, or a big corporate. Now, my limited argument is this. Right to privacy is not absolute. Right to information is not absolute. They do not function in a vacuum. On the larger argument that yes, you cannot treat a school student, or a college student or a teacher on the same, platform as a big corporate, that is a bona fide argument. But I think the Supreme Court, again, without wanting to sound offensive, has missed the woods for the trees.
No.
Because would you rather go back to pre-2014 when money came via the Hawala route? Answer is no. Would you go back to the pre-2018 time when money came via unaccounted for, untaxed cash? The answer is no. So I think rather than throwing the baby along with the bathwater, the Supreme Court could have fine-tuned the mechanism to ensure that there is a common meeting ground where the right to privacy and the right to information is not totally compromised. At the same time, if there is clean money which is coming in via a verifiable electronic digital trail, it is most welcome. My last argument without being verbose. Who are the two biggest companies who have donated money? One is a company called Megha Engineering. The other is a company called Future Gaming. You know, I'm not getting into the argument. Arey bhai sahab, 303 seaton ke saath BJP has got 8,250 crores, but the Congress with just 52 seats has got 1,954 crores, and the TMC with just 22 MPs has got 1,707 crores. Because people may say that, you know, Sanju, is a very juvenile argument. But I want to ask just one question, Arnab, which you should know. Last year, Megha Engineering applied for a license to the Modi government. It wanted to set up a joint venture with the Chinese electric car manufacturer called BYD.
No, it's
it
a
was
very
a $1
long
billion
answer.
investment. Why did the Modi government deny that if you're saying that Modi government is also working on
It's
the
a very
lines
long
of the quid
answer.
pro quo?
It's a very long answer. It's a very long answer. I want to give some very snappy responses before I go to Sohail. Now, Sohail, sometime in 1937, the Germans built an airship which was filled with helium. It was called the Hindenburg, and on the way back from a transatlantic flight, it burnt, it fell down, and people died. Now, if somebody said, what was the need to fly on the airplane? We must get into the airplane, get burnt and die all over again, because would you rather go back to traveling on trains? There is no comparison. This is like saying, would you rather go back to cash? That's the first point. So that argument doesn't hold. Second point is, if I pay a bribe via check, is it not a bribe? If I say I have paid tax on a bribe, I pay 30-40% tax on a bribe, I pay TDS on a bribe, is it not a bribe? It is still a bribe. The question is it a form of corporate bribery? My question is, Sohail, what do the corporates have to hide? Something they have to hide. Why have they sent Mukul Rohatgi to the Supreme Court? Because they are worried, Sohail, that something is going to come out, that the links will be established, that you scratch my back, I scratch yours, which we thought was over, would be revealed all over again. Sohail.
So I think my good friend Siddharth made the argument about quid pro quo. For the uninitiated, it's a Latin phrase originally meant for the exchange of goods. Okay, so I don't know what quid pro quo he's talking about, but let me give you 4 or 5 points, and I will take 2 minutes more than what even Sanju Verma took. Because these representative political parties hog every goddamn television space that they can get. So now, uninterrupted, I will speak. 4 things have happened. Number 1, you set out a law under which you invite applications for a particular product, brand, or a bond. You say that, look, we will maintain secrecy and privacy. And why? Arnab, you asked the right question. The corporates aren't worried about that. The corporates aren't worried about secrecy. The corporates aren't worried about transparency. The corporates are worried about reprisal. The corporates are worried about some level of retribution. That's what they're worried about. And let me tell you one thing. My good friend from TMC is also there. I'm from Calcutta. Okay. You think the communists never took money? They took a lot of money, but they took it all in cash. 2004 to 2014, 71% of the money that was coming in for electoral purposes was from unknown sources. Only the rest had established known sources. So what has the electoral bond done? Number 1, it has forced you to deal in the white economy. Is it a good thing? To my mind, it is. Number 2, it actually establishes the fact that there can be no quid pro quo exactly for the reasons that Siddharth mentioned. Because it is then apparent. Today, if you're saying ED and IT and all that, get into that. But the point I'm making is, what about corporations which from their honest heart have given money based on a promise of secrecy that you have established. Corporations didn't go to the government saying,
Sohail, I ask you a
please
question.
understand.
Sohail, let me ask you. Let me ask you something.
What happened with Vodafone.
Let me ask you something. No, let me ask you something. I'm very proud. No, Sohail, I keep 1 minute. Sohail, see.
It had said.
Sohail.
When Vodafone happened,
Sohail, I
the
tell you.
Supreme Court of India threw out the government's application. Pranab Mukherjee went back to Parliament and created an ordinance. And that retrospective tax hurt India's investment climate for years. I'm saying don't make that mistake.
Sohail.
I have a lot of respect for Justice Chandra.
No,
I have a lot of respect for the law.
We're having a very reasonable debate out here. You need to understand why I call this. I'm concerned that this could be some kind of corporate bribery. Exhibit number 1. Aurobindo Pharma owner P. Sharath Reddy is arrested by the ED on 10th November 2022 on charges of being involved in the alleged cartelization of the liquor trade in what is called Liquor Gate. As per electoral bonds data released by the Election Commission, 5 days after his arrest, Aurobindo Pharma purchases 5 electoral bonds of 1 crore each. Moreover, apart from its contributions in November 22 and 23, the company goes on to purchase 15 bonds of 1 crore each on April 22. Now let me tell you what happened thereafter, Sohail and Sanju. P. Sharath Reddy, who the ED in its arguments had maintained formed the South Group of the liquor cartel, then coolly moves an application in the Rouse Avenue Court in Delhi to become an approver in the June 2023, to which the court agrees, thus pardoning Reddy.
So 1 minute.
I want
the
to answer
Supreme
this.
Court is
It's
above the
transparent
Rouse
what's
Avenue
going on.
Court. 1 minute.
No,
the Supreme Court is
it's
above the Rouse Avenue Court. Let the Supreme Court educate.
Are we to be blind to
agree with
this?
you. If
May I please
Aurobindo
come in?
Pharma is guilty, let the guy go to jail.
Sir,
we don't care. No one cares.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Supreme Court, to my mind, is
The-
higher in both stature
when-
and jurisdiction
when
than
Arun
the Rouse
Jaitley-
Court.
When Arun Jaitley drafted this legislation, as an astute lawyer, as one of India's topmost lawyers and jurists, he put in a section up in clause 7.4 of the disclosure of details which Sanju is not referring to. It said the information furnished by the buyer shall be treated confidential by the authorized bank and should not be disclosed to any authority for any purposes except when demanded by a corporate court or the registration of a criminal case by any law enforcement agency.
Perfect.
Therefore,
Yeah, so let me
the
come in
apparent
here.
fact here was that if a company under investigation for corruption tries to get away by playing electoral bonds, there is a rider in the rule which disallows a company under investigation from technically or morally contributing to the coffers of any political party.
why did State
Therefore,
Bank of
there
India
is that
accept the
aspect
money?
which is in the
Why
rule
did State
7.4
Bank of India
itself.
accept the money?
Arnab, you are being
1 minute,
very
Arnab.
convenient
Why did
with the
State
truth.
Bank of
Can I
India
please come
accept
in
their
here?
money?
Arnab,
Why did
you're
State
being
Bank
very
of India
convenient
not do
with
a
the truth.
KYC? Blame the State
May
Bank.
I
Why are
come
you
in?
blaming the government? Why are you
Arnab, may I
blaming
come in?
the process?
Why won't the State Bank of
I am
India
quoting
accept
the
the money?
law.
Are bhai,
No,
no
I
case.
need to make a
If
small
Arnab
rebuttal
Goswami,
here.
1 minute, if Arnab Goswami
Yes.
says that there was a rider in the clause in the law saying if a company is under criminal investigation, the money that it contributes cannot be accepted by the State Bank, it forms part of your KYC. It forms part of your due diligence. So that bank has to do the due diligence. You and I can't do
Section
it.
7 clause 4 states that the State
Arnab,
Bank
this
of
can't
India
be
can
a
reveal all the
let me come in
information
now.
if at all there is any form of a criminal proceeding initiated against the company.
That's what
So,
Arnab is saying, my
yes,
friend. Why
so
don't you listen
if
to what
you-
Arnab
if
is
a
saying? He's
criminal-
speaking in perfect
If
English.
a criminal
He's saying
case
if a
is
company is under
initiated
criminal
against the
investigation,
company, then the SBI has to disclose all
Arnab, this is
information.
unfair. You
Arey,
have
my
to
friend
allow the
Lokesh,
ruling
you're
party
saying the
some
same thing as
time.
Arnab Goswami is saying.
What I'm saying here,
Arnab Goswami is
what I'm saying here,
if a company is
what
under
I'm saying here-
investigation, that company's
Arnab,
money
please
should
don't
not be
be
given to the State
economical
Bank.
with the
Arnab
truth.
Goswami is saying that.
Why
No,
would you
I'm not
ask
saying.
questions of the
I'm not
DMK?
saying. I'm not saying.
Why
1
don't
minute,
you
Sohail,
ask
Sohail.
questions of the
1 minute,
Congress which
Sanju.
has got
No,
close to
Sohail, that's not what I'm
2,000
saying. 1 minute, 1 minute.
electoral
Let me
bonds.
tell you what I'm saying. 1 minute. Let me tell you, Sanju, 1 minute. Sanju, let me tell you my explanation of 7.4. 7.4 does not say that you cannot take the money. 7.4 is, however, a suggestion that any political party taking the money must be cognizant of the fact that if there is a case by any law enforcement agency against that company, there should be an implicit unwritten bar against the political party
Those
taking the
political
money,
parties will
and
not
the political
bother.
party should be
That they will
aware
not bother.
that tomorrow
You
those
think they're-
details may
they're
come
being
out.
Built on honesty.
I want to
That
come
they
in
won't
here,
bother. Then Arnab, then my appeal, including to Sanju,
Sanju.
and the others, would be political parties on their own volition should actually say that this person contributed to us, but he's under criminal investigation.
Yes.
This company is under criminal investigation. We are
Yes,
not
so let
taking the
me-
money.